Makes things more seamless when it's very cleared out about who the executor would be. That's a trusted individual that would be the one over that asset, and distinguishing the sales price, when the property will be sold, who's handling the estate sales process with the furniture in the home, the price of that furniture. So everything is laid out in a trust, and that executor gets to make those decisions, and it makes it a lot easier versus probate when nothing is decided. And there's a huge tax savings as well. So what I know about the savings that it can really give you is that when you're selling a property and you have a trust versus a property going into probate from not having a trust done, you don't have to deal with the emotional turmoil of siblings or family members, husband that's having to share the responsibilities with children, making poor decisions that are emotional decisions that can flare up in the transaction. And I call it emotional intelligence, right? So to me, when you don't have things laid out in a trust, then you're gone, and it just makes it more complicated when some people that have no experience in even selling bicycles now are selling a home, and they get to make their own rules, and you have and that can ruin your value, and you can get less, which impacts your legacy that you are leaving behind, that you've worked many years for, and now it is being up to other people to make that decision on what your home should be selling for, and how they can really hurt the other sibling, hurt the other, if you don't have a trust, and it just goes to probate, you have everybody's decision being made and people being forced to agree. So it could just get really complicated, especially in the state of Texas, where it can get more complex for you by not having things laid out with your children. Most people are truly emotional when they're dealing with a asset of a family member. And what I find is, for me, it's a pleasure to be able to meet people where they are and help them understand the processes of what's going to make things more streamlined, or understanding what their needs are, whether it's being decluttered. Some family members are dealing with, having a garage that's full of 2 and 3 generations of collections, and having an agent that has the sources that can move that process along, and as well as understanding construction. And I think that being able to help that family with the sources, because they're dealing with so much more pain with attorneys and deadlines and family members that they want to get things done for. So having an agent that can remain neutral yet compassionate around understanding what the families are going through, and that individual that's handling that asset, is a lot on their shoulders, and the last thing they need is poor advice or lack of confidence or an experience. So I believe that my joy, that's a big percentage of our business in the last 10 years, is dealing with estate properties, and I know that they are dealing with just a lot. And family members that are in memory facilities or in assisted living facilities, as well as just losses. And with that responsibility, they're still working. They need sometimes the funds to come from that home. So it's my experience to have systems, people, and then construction access that can make things a lot easier. And sometimes we're dealing with hoarders, right? So having the right resources to move things along, to make sure that we make as much money, as fast amount of time that we can for the families or that individual that's selling that asset.